What's up? What's up? All right, get set up for you guys tonight. All right, get this going for you. Okay, so tonight we're gonna be diving into ways you can really reel yourself in terms of your fitness journey. I know that the holidays are, coming quick. So it's always good to jump on this stuff now than wait until after the holidays and have gained a bunch of weight, right? Because I hear that a lot. People, especially come January 1st, people always reaching back out to me and be like, hey, like, I gained a bunch of weight over the holidays, this, that, and the other thing. And we can prevent it now, right? So that's the purpose of tonight's video, is just to kind of reel it back in and get you guys back on track. All right, so let me just go ahead and share my screen. If you guys are watching now, just, jump in and say, hey, what's up? If you are watching the replay, type out replay. That way I could see who watched it later on. And yeah, get to see who's checking out the videos. This stuff is really helpful. I'll probably include it in the guides tab as well. If you have been in the group for some time and you haven't checked out the guides tabs, I have a lot of previous training videos in there. So go ahead and check those out. Things on macros, motivation, stuff like that. So got some good resources for you guys. All right, so let's jump in here. Hopefully you can see this okay. All right, so reeling yourself back in. So I'm sure most of you watching are probably like, either some people are starting out on their journey, some people, fell off the wagon. Again, I talked to you guys in Messenger. For some of you that like answered yes when you came to the group, wanted me to, reach out to you and chat. Just kind of figure out where your starting point is, right? Some of you have maybe some prior injuries. Some of you might have just been like, hey, like before I knew it, I started putting on the weight. So here we're going to dive into a couple ways, and I'm going to be honest here, you know what I mean? And if my dog starts to bark, I'm sorry, I just heard one of them bark. I always like to lay things out for you guys, right? Because we have to come to realization in some points of our fitness journey. So we'll go by each of these different topics. I'm going to touch on one. Like I said, if you are watching, just go ahead and drop one of these in, because the first one I'm going to talk about is figuring out your number one excuse. Because it's true, right? We make excuses for ourselves all the time and we get in our own ways constantly. So this is important, right? So figure out which one is yours right now. Like, you could stay here, you can type it in the comments if you like, but figure out your number one excuse. Is it time? Are you saying like you don't have enough time? Are you saying like you're not sure what to do? Maybe you don't have a gym membership. Maybe it's motivation. I could list like a ton of these, but just, sit with yourself right now and be like, hey, like what is something that I maybe make an excuse about? And reason I bring this up, because this is something I ask people, like what's stopping you from reaching your goals? And for majority of people, especially my frontline workers, a lot of it is time. Like, hey, I don't have, a lot of time in my day, so on and so forth. Then I always challenge people, right? Like, well, okay. So if we were going to lay out your week, right? Sunday all the way to the following Sunday, like what does that look like for you? Are you working 3 days a week? Are you working 4 days a week? Are you working 5, 6, 7? Because this is something that comes up a lot with time. And then when we start to talk a little bit more, I'm like, well, if you were going to work out 3 days a week for, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes, could that be something you do? And then when people start to like hear that, they realize like, wow, yeah, I could actually get that done. Because a lot of times we don't realize like we're spending 20 to 30 minutes just scrolling through on our phone. We're spending 20 to 30 minutes, I don't know, just maybe doing something around the house that maybe we could have waited a few more minutes. We got a quick workout in and then still had time to do it. So there is always some pocket of time somewhere that we can, throw some workouts in. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You could just be going for a walk. Like, are you walking your dogs? Are you like avoiding walking your dogs when you come home? Like, that could be your workout right then and there. Another thing too, right? So not sure what to do. And that's another big one too. So some people are like, well, I'm not, or they know what to do, but they're not doing it. I've heard that one too, right? So yeah, I know how to eat healthy. I know how to go to the gym, get workouts in. Well, then why aren't you? You know what I mean? Why aren't you? And sometimes it has to do with just like the last one, right? Motivation. Well, I don't have the motivation to do it. Okay, well, what's going to motivate you? Is the doctor telling you like, hey, you're on the verge of having diabetes? Is that going to motivate you? For some people, yes. For some people, maybe no. Hey, you're putting on excess weight and you're going to have struggle with maybe arthritis down the road with your knees. So those things will also fall in play. Like, is that going to motivate you? Maybe you are at work and you're noticing like you're not performing as well. You have to chase a subject and you can't keep up with them. Is that going to motivate you to start doing those things, right? So we have to kind of figure out like what your number one excuse is. And like I said in the beginning of this, like I'm going to start like bringing these types of things up to you guys because it does sometimes we have to realize this, right? We have to like kick ourselves in the butt and be like, hey, what do I need? All right, so let's scroll back down. Next is going to be making an effort with nutrition. So this, I just made it really big. This is something that I always hear people struggle with just because of a lot of it has to do with the time, right? They're like, well, I don't want to meal prep. I don't want to do that. So the thing is like, well, right here, I don't want to kind of goes up with the excuses, right? Two would be some people don't know, they're not consistent with it, so they're not sure what they're even doing with their nutrition. So the consistency and just dialing their nutrition in a little bit more. So with this, in terms of making effort with nutrition, I'll tell people this in order to start. You can pay attention to your calorie count first, and then also your protein intake. So calories and what was it, protein intake. That way you have like an idea. Because what I've noticed, just from doing this for so many years and talking to people, here and just like, in life in general, is most people have no clue. They have no idea. They're like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'll just eat throughout the day, or I won't eat. I won't eat at all. So you have to have an idea. And again, there's like a bajillion different like nutrition things out there in terms of like diets, this, that, and the other thing. So you have to know like the calories in and the calories out. So make some sort of effort with nutrition, because what that's going to teach you long term, and this is something I was just talking to a client about, is how to do this without actually having to really think about it after a while, because you'll already know, right? So if you start to make an effort in the beginning, you have this good, well-rounded idea of like, hey, this is how much food I'm supposed to be intaking, either to lose weight, to maintain weight, or to gain weight. Then long term, you won't have to be as on top of it with yourself, right? You won't have to be like, well, I have to count every single thing, or I can't eat this, or I can't eat that. You'll have a really good idea just because you're so used to seeing it prior. And that's what I tell people. And this is something that a lot of people will fight people on, right? They'll just be like, well, I've done diets in the past. And I'm like, yes, but you weren't really paying attention to the food. Like, were you paying attention to the nutrition labels? Were you taking a look up how much carbs or fats, or were you just following like a specific plan? So that's what I do with the clients, right? So I'll give them guides to show them how they can hit their macros. But after a couple weeks, like the goal for them is to just eat food and know like, hey, this is how much intaking, like how much I'm supposed to be intaking, right? So just making that effort of like understanding their nutrition. That way, when they're ready to be like less strict with themselves, they don't have to pay attention to every single thing they put in their mouth, in a sense. That way they don't have to like weigh it out and log it. They could just still know, because they're so used to having an idea, right? By writing it down, plugging into MyFitnessPal. All right, so next one, let me make this bigger too. All right, understanding what you even want out of your fitness journey. So what is it that you want to see? Like, do you want to see weight loss? Do you want to see strength? Do you want to have just better health overall? Because that is going to be your main driver, right? That's the main reason you wake up every day and go to the gym, or decide to, maybe skip out on ordering food and decide to eat your meal prep, right? Because that's what it really comes down to. what you want out of your fitness journey. Like for some people, it'll be they want to feel more confident. For others, it might be overall health, right? They just want to feel healthy. They also want to see the scale drop. They want to, go to the doctor and the doctor tell them, hey, like everything looks great, so on and so forth, right? You don't need that medication that we thought you needed last time you were here. So some people want to feel more healthy. Some people want to perform better in their professions, right? So some people are like, I'm fit, I'm barely passing my PT test. Like I can't pass it, the run, or I'm struggling with this or this. So for them, in order for them to perform better their profession, which is ultimately going to lead to, career advancement, that's something as well. So you kind of have to ask yourself something that's like, what is it, what I want? Why do I want it? Right? I've talked about this before. Your why. Why is it that you want this out of your fitness journey? Okay. Because if you wake up every day and it's not like a factor that like comes up in your life and you're just like brushing it off, then it's not going to be a very good why, right? And I could talk about like my own. Like I like to feel confident. I like people noticing that I, lift weights, and it just, it makes me feel good. Like I like that. And I like knowing like if I have to perform, maybe I have to run somewhere, something happens, like I can easily, jog it out, run it out, and know like, hey, like I have the stamina and the endurance because the way I train, this, that, and the other thing, right? I just don't want to feel like I can't do something. That's my personal thing. For someone else, it might be something different. So kind of have to figure that out, and everyone has to figure this out on their own, right? It comes down to mindset. So just ask yourself, like, which one of these is it? And like I said, I could list some more, but again, you guys have to find out what you want. Mm-mm-mm. And last but not least, right? Are you saying I can't a lot? And reason I write this in like reeling yourself in, because you have to pay attention to this, right? Are you constantly saying like I can't, lift that, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I can't make the extra effort to stop going through the drive-through. So if you keep saying like I can't, essentially you're going to believe that, right? You're going to believe that, and then it's going to make it harder and harder and harder to reel yourself back in terms of trying to reach your goals. Or even anything like I can't afford to work with someone that is going to show me exactly what to do. I can't, make that extra 20-minute walk that the doctor told me to do, in order to help me start seeing some weight loss. So if you are someone that keeps saying this, pay attention to it. That's all I can really say, is just start paying attention to your mindset, how you're talking to yourself, and why you're saying it. And then maybe start trying to switch that, right? So saying I can't, think of something you can do. Like I can, maybe instead of, you want to start out small. I can, take the steps. I can park farther from the grocery store and just walk in and have some extra steps to get in that way. I can start prepping at least one meal for myself for the week. Maybe it's breakfast, maybe it's lunch, maybe it's dinner, right? So just starting to change these couple things is going to make a big difference. And like I said, the reason I brought this stuff up is too because the holidays. So a lot of people during the holidays, I see like usually somewhere between like 10 to 20 pounds gains in 3 months, which is crazy, right? That's a lot of weight for someone to put on in such a short period of time, especially because in 3 months, the average person, let's see, can lose healthy, right? Around like 30 pounds. Somewhere in that range is a good amount to lose within that time period. So what normally happens, right, is the parties start happening, people start bringing stuff into work, people start, getting outside their normal routine, they're going to families' houses, so on and so forth. They're drinking more a lot of times too because the holidays, so they're having the excess alcohol, which again, calories, calories, calories. Your calories in are starting to exceed your calories out. So what you can do is add in a little bit more activity. So for me, like around, especially like Thanksgiving or like Christmas, if I knew I was going to like my family's house, I would always try to get a workout in right before. Like, I don't care. I was going, like, if I had a 24-hour gym membership, I would go there, work out at home, just knowing that, like, hey, if I can burn, like, some extra calories before I go over there, I won't have to, you know, be as strict with myself because I'm pretty active during the week, active the day prior. So things like that, it's all going to make a big, big difference, right? In terms of the holidays and all that extra week gain. So if this is somewhat like if this is you, if you struggle with this, especially this time of year, take all of these points and just kind of sit with yourself, say, hey, like, all right, like this is what I need to get done. Maybe you sit down with yourself too and make a little plan, like a game plan. Pull up your calendar on your phone, punch in the days that you work, the hours, see where you have a little bit of time. Again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be an hour plus workout at the gym, just 20 to 30 minutes, 3 times a week. All right. I think that's all something reasonable that everyone can get done. And so on and so forth. So hopefully this guy gave you a little bit of a plan of action. Because I know Halloween's coming up. We have some candy at the house. Another thing too is like timing when you eat this stuff, right? So if you are going to eat candy, eat it either before or after your workout, right? We're breaking down the muscle while we're working out. Body needs the sugar, right? We use glycogen. So trying to repair our muscles, we need the sugar. So there you go. There's another little tip there, right? So sugar intake, punch it in here. So sugar intake before or after workout. All right. And I think that's all I got for you guys tonight. If you guys have any questions, you want to punch it into the comment section in the video, go ahead. That way I can reply back to you. And yeah, I'll keep doing my lives. I'll do them every single week. If you guys have any questions, we want to learn a little bit more about what I do, feel free to drop in the comments. You just say program, and then that way I can reach out to you. If you have any questions and things like that. All right. So hopefully you guys have a good Friday night. Have fun. Stay safe out there and let me know if you guys need anything.